Hi Virgo, welcome to your July 2020 Astrology 33 reading. Thank you to those of you who have liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. For those of you interested in a book of a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details there. As far as what's in front of us, we have a Celtic Cross spread as always, and then I also pulled a couple of Oracle cards and a Mudra card. So we'll get started with the main spread. In the main situation position, we have the Tower. So the Tower usually represents a sudden ending. Usually it's a situation that we might have perceived to be a lot more stable than it actually turned out to be. So for example, let's say could be related to, well, I mean, you're going to have an eclipse in your fifth house. So let's say it's related to a creative project you were working on, right? Maybe you thought that, okay, this is going to be the next big thing for me, right? And then all of a sudden you might start to notice all these flaws in it. Or you might present it to someone and they might shoot the idea down, for example. These are just a couple of ways it could play out. I will say, whenever I see the Tower pop up, especially in a prominent position in the spread, I do say if you want, you could just carry around some black tourmaline for protection. It's usually pretty inexpensive, or you could just look for some other protection stones or crystals. In the challenge or obstacle position, we have the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Swords. So this could be as simple as maybe a friendship might end for some of you, for example. The reason I say it could be a friendship is because we'll be dealing with that Mercury retrograde in your 11th house, which is your house of friendships. So it could just be as simple as that. You and a friend, you might think that, oh, this is a solid friendship. You guys might get into some kind of an argument and the friendship might come to a sudden end, right? Now, usually retrogrades, if there is an ending like that, eventually you do tend to patch things up. But obviously, in the moment, that could definitely feel like a Tower moment, right? And, a lot of people are on edge as is. So throw Mercury retrograde into the mix on top of everything else going on in the world, and it wouldn't be too surprising to see something like that happen. Now, I do have to say that I'm picking up that for some of you, though, this can be a little bit different, where this can be someone who actually you already experienced a Tower moment with, then they could be coming back around out of nowhere. Again, that is another common Mercury retrograde theme, but this card combination is a bit unique for that, where they might actually be coming back in after causing an ending, and that could throw you for a loop in that regard. Like, seriously, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? So be on the lookout for that too. I do always say to people that I notice this card tends to pop up a lot during Mercury retrograde periods, which makes sense because it is a Gemini energy and they're ruled by Mercury. And then, of course, the horse always points toward the past position in the spread. So that's what I'm definitely seeing here. Just be mindful that we're dealing with Mercury retrograde and in your house of friendships. So, if you feel like something's getting a little volatile, try to keep that in mind and maybe withdraw from the conversation if you can. All right, in the foundation position, we have Strength and Nine of Wands. So for some of you, this can be something that might have actually started around the time of that Sagittarius full moon eclipse. The reason I say that, this represents the middle 10 degrees of Sag, which is where that eclipse took place. And seeing the Strength card here, though, it does look like you're trying to restrain yourself. So I feel like you already are ahead of the game in that regard, where, like I was saying, if someone does come to you with a bit of a volatile energy, maybe they're rushing in to communicate something, looks like you're trying to hold yourself back a little bit and trying to be responsible rather than just letting them have it. But it does look like there was some kind of a wound in some way, shape, or form where you guys might have had, at the very least, some words between the two of you. And now it looks like it could be more than likely that this person's trying to come back into the picture and try to rectify the situation. So I'm really picking up on that as the more likely theme, is that this is actually something that might have already taken place, and this is someone trying to come back around to fix that. But the wound looks like the wound might still be a little fresh. All right. In the past position, we have the Five of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Star. So an interesting combination of cards here. This is actually Taurus energy. This is often referred to as being left out in the cold. We could see just from the artwork where it speaks to that theme. And then with the Ace of Cups in reverse, And the star, this could be saying that for some of you, this might be someone who you might have tried to get something off the ground with in the past, and they might have pretty much shot down that idea with the Ace of Cups in reverse. And especially, this is another indicator for me that this might already be a tower that took place for you guys, and this is someone now trying to come back around and undo the damage, basically, because this comes after the Tower card. So I feel like whatever this was, it might have been a bit of a blow to your ego, but it looks like you were able to heal from that and learn from it. So could have just been a karmic thing in that regard. In the present position, we have the Queen of Cups and the Seven of Swords. Getting all the fun sword cards in your spread, but seeing these two cards together, this being Cancer energy, where, like I said, that will be where the Mercury retrograde energy is going to be, of course, and then we have the Seven of Swords here, which is Aquarius energy, which, for you guys, that's basically your Aquarius house. Your 11th house is Cancer. So seeing these two cards together, I'm getting that vibe that, someone's going to tell you part of a story, and possibly knowing full well that it could cause a conflict between you and another person. So definitely be on the lookout for that, kind of like a gossipy vibe. That's how I've been seeing this card this month. That's not always how I see it, but that's really how it's been popping out to me this month. Especially seeing the Cancer energy here, where, like I said, that's where the retrograde will be taking place. So be on the lookout for that, where someone, you might be able to pick up on it intuitively too, where, they're very conveniently just giving you a part of a story. So if they tell you something and you feel like your first reaction is to maybe go into this type of a combative mode, just try to, think it through for a bit and maybe ask yourself, okay, is this really the full story here, or are there conveniently some parts left out, right? In the near future position, we have the Queen of Pentacles. So I do have to say, given all the, bumpy energy we do see here, if this is representing your energy, which I feel for most of you it is, this is saying that you do have some sense of stability here. It looks like you're very focused, maybe having some success. This is a Capricorn energy, and like I said, that will be where the eclipse is. So for some of you, this can be a situation that's actually set right with that eclipse, especially given that it is the last one in Capricorn for a long time, around 9 years or so. So definitely some significance there. All right, in the position of your influence in the situation, we have Five of Swords. So like I said, you guys just really, 10 of Swords, 7 of Swords, 5 of Swords. These are, 3 of Swords, I guess, is the only one missing technically, but these are the harsher sword energy. So definitely just try to be mindful of communication this month. Like I said, especially with friends, since that will be in your friendship house. But yeah, there's no positive way to spin this card when it's in the upright. I always, I have to be honest with you, it's coming up in your spot. So if you feel yourself feeling like you're tempted to engage in some kind of a petty ego conflict type situation, I would advise against it. But it does look like you would be feeding into it in some way, shape, or form. Maybe you might feel it's warranted given some of the stuff going on here, but my thing when I always see this card is nothing positive is going to come from it, so something to keep in mind there. All right, in the environment position, we have the Emperor, which is Aries energy, the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, and the Five of Cups, which is Scorpio energy. So really the way that these cards read to me is that this is someone who maybe in the past they were coming out of ego, and maybe they too have grown from the situation where I was saying, you guys might have gone through that tower moment and managed to grow from it with the star card showing up in the past. In a similar sense, they might have grown as far as we see that progression from the Emperor to the Hierophant. And then they could express to you that they have some regrets about what they, did do in the past, especially that considering that for you guys, Scorpio is your house of communication. So, they can just express some regrets around the situation in the past and try to let you know that they've changed right now. For the most part, it looks like they're being sincere there. I don't know if it looks like you're going to be believing that, quite frankly, given the card that we see in your position, or at the very least, like I said, the wound might still be a little fresh for you guys. So, your first reaction might be to get revenge, quote unquote. So, just something to keep in mind there. It does look, at least on the surface, like they're being sincere. Um, Take that how you will, I guess. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Six of Pentacles in reverse. So for this to come up in reverse, it could just be saying that, you might fear that the situation can't be balanced with you and this person. So, whether it be, for some of you, this can definitely be around career, I do have to say, given that we have had that Venus retrograde energy taking place in your 10th house, and that is some Gemini energy, which is your 10th house. So this can't even be some career situation where they might have slighted you in some way. Maybe they might have promised you something financially and then withdrew from that. Given all the financial uncertainty going on in the world, that wouldn't surprise me, right? So you might feel like, okay, well, are we ever going to have the balance restored? So, but I always point out to people that the card in this position is just a hope or fear, doesn't necessarily point to that energy actually playing out this month. It's just more something that's on your mind subconsciously. So that's what I see there. And that might be why you're in this energy as well, where you're like, well, what's the point, right? It's not going to be balanced. So just something to keep in mind there. And in the outcome position, we have the Three of Pentacles. So more Capricorn energy here, and that's actually going to be the degrees where that Capricorn full moon eclipse will take place as well. So could just be as simple as something needed to be broken down with that Tower energy in order to be built back up the right way. Because to me, this energy I view as, it's basically a Capricorn energy, so it's ruled by Saturn, but there's some Venus influence in there as well. So to me, that's something, when you build something that's long lasting but also pleasing. So that's why I see there. Looks like you guys will be able to maintain your stability, improve on something, build on something. So it definitely looks positive overall as far as the outcome. And at the bottom of the deck, we have the Lovers. So yeah, I feel like I said, for a lot of you, this is a situation being set right. And like I said, for a lot of you, this can be around career, given that, again, this is Gemini energy, which for you guys is your 10th house career and social status. And it could be as simple as that too, because I think a couple of months ago, you guys I mentioned to you guys, don't take the bait, where there might have been someone that was trying to pull you into some type of a battle. So it could be as simple as that, where maybe if that is what someone did in the past, maybe they tried to smear your reputation in some way. Now they might actually come back around and fix that. And, with that growth there, so they might express regrets. They might set the record straight. That could be one way it plays out. And then, of course, in a more mundane way, this can just be saying that this could be around the love relationship as well, where maybe, like I said, maybe you guys karmically both had to learn some things, and now you could be being brought back together. So, something to keep in mind there. Moving on to the oracle cards. First one we have is Go the Distance. There's the artwork, and the number is 47. Okay, it says endurance, strength, the long haul. The Oracle's message: to bring your dream to life, you must think long term and pay no attention to the fluctuations in the current of your experience. Joy and disappointment commingle with opportunities, so there is no need to fear the occasional obstacle. Life is not a sprint. This card is a reminder that you have endurance, strength, and fortitude to carry you all the way. Remain true to yourself. Your authenticity alone will keep you in alignment with the energy of miracles. What is yours will never be withheld from you. Remember that. So, what that message there makes me think of is the fact that we have the Strength card in the foundation and that Nine of Wands. So, this can be one of those things where maybe you feel like you've already made multiple attempts at a situation and it just hasn't panned out the way you hoped it would. But it could just be saying that, even with those obstacles, right? For example, he's holding on to that one wand, and obviously it looks like he has a bandage on his head, but there's still those 8 wands behind him, right? So he could be holding on to that one wand, feeling like he's starting from square one, But those 8 wands in the background could be saying, well, the work you've put in is still there. It's still part of your experience. So, don't feel like just because you might have had some setbacks that you're always back at square one. You still have those 8 wands behind you and that one that you're holding. So, hopefully that resonates. Okay, the relationship message says you either are in or are calling in a harmonious relationship that can stand the test of time. For better or worse, as you ride the ups and downs and even strain, break yourself, and are remade in new growth, you are being redeemed by the power of regeneration. Harmony does not mean there will never be a wrong note played, but that the relationship is marked by endurance and dedication to overall unity. A new song can be written, an instrument can be tuned, and the symphony of love will play on. Listen with your heart. Isn't it magnificent? So yeah, like I said, for those of you where this does represent someone coming back around who might have treated you in a not so good way in the past, like I said, it does look like they're sincere. Now, obviously, that's up to you whether you want to give them another chance or not, but sometimes even just karmically, accepting the apology and moving on could be helpful as well. But hopefully that message resonated for you guys. All right. The prosperity message says your most precious dreams are not about instant gratification, but enduring prosperity. This is a time to think long term and engage in continued action. You will experience momentum building as you translate the ebb and flow into slow and steady movement forward. Your efforts, ideas, and hard work now can lead to greater riches than you can imagine. Stoke the fire so that an uninterrupted stream of energy is available to support you in all the phases of manifestation. Be assured that you are in the right place right now. So definitely a pretty positive message there. Hopefully that resonates for you guys as well. And moving on to the next oracle card. This is from the Spirit Animal Oracle. You guys got Nightingale Spirit, and it says love is all around. There's the artwork and the number's 41. Okay, it says, in the darkness of night, Nightingale Spirit sings her song of love and hope, a harbinger of dawn to remind you that the sun will rise again soon. You are so loved, and the illumination song of the Nightingale Spirit calls you to a new level of self-awareness and connection with the light. Yes, there is shadow and darkness, but love and prosperity exist everywhere, even in the seeming emptiness of space, darkness, and a starless night. Hearken to the message, letting the music of the Nightingale's song remind you that love is all around. Feel it and trust in tomorrow's light, renewing your ability to recognize that the spaces that appear empty are filled with love and abundance. Illumination will happen soon. So definitely a pretty positive message there as well, and obviously that makes me think of the Lovers being at the bottom of the deck, but hopefully that resonated. And finally, we have a Mudra card. And the mudra you guys got for this month is the Panchamukha Mudra. There it is there, and the keyword for it is integration. Alright, and there's the info on it. If you want to pause it or take a screenshot, you can. But under benefits, it says balances the left and right hemispheres of the brain by affecting the corpus callosum, which acts as a bridge between the two hemispheres, improves concentration and memory retention, benefits the tendons, activates the body's self-healing power. So if that sounds like something that you think would be beneficial for you guys, I will put the name of the mudra in the description of the video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you guys next month. Alright, bye.